This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Preparing for Cindy. The work happening now before the tropical storm hits the Texas coast.
And we're keeping an eye on Cindy and how it's going to impact us here in Central Texas. I'll give you the latest details coming up.
And pay up for parking, the plan to charge you for more hours downtown. And a new study reveals why it is always so hard to park there.
But first this morning, we begin with breaking news from overnight. Austin police investigating the death of two people in northeast Austin.
Their bodies were found overnight on Rexford Drive and Cordell Lane. That's near Manor Road. And that's where we find Daybreak's Corey Coffin. Corey, police are not saying a lot at this point, are they?
That's right. Police will only tell us at this time this is a death investigation, not much else. But we do know crime scene units still on scene here. In fact, we've even seen police officers go inside the home in question just moments ago. Now, officers tell us they got a call to check on someone's welfare here at this home just before midnight. When they arrived, they found two people inside dead. Austin PD are remaining fairly tight-lipped about the case. We know, though, that homicide units are on scene, as is their animal control unit, because the home had some dogs in it. Investigators haven't provided any identifying information for the victims. They are urging anyone with information about these suspicious deaths to call their homicide tip line. That number 512-477-3588. Again, that homicide tip line number 512-477-3588. And Austin police are asking anyone with information about these deaths to come forward and give them a call. As Austin police continue to investigate, we'll be out here on scene. We hope to learn more from investigators in the coming hours. For now, we're live in Northeast Austin. I'm Corey Coffin for KVUE News.
Corey, thank you. Let's take a live look this morning at the beach. People in Galveston and Brazoria County keeping an especially close eye on Tropical Storm Cindy as it heads towards the coast. The National Weather Service saying the threat of coastal flooding includes tide levels as high as 3.5 feet, wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour for some.
And let's get a look at what we're tracking with Storm Team meteorologist Erica Lopez.
Yeah, well, I know a big question here in Central Texas is how is Cindy going to impact us? We get the minimal impacts, but still some rain shower activity expected. I'll get to that in a second. As for this morning, happy first official full day of summer. It's a great start so far. Lower to mid 70s across the entire region and dew points in the 70s right now, but we're actually expecting a less humid day in store. 95 degrees is your forecasted high, and it's going to feel like we're in the mid 90s, so we're not talking triple-digit heat index values. Here's a look at where Cindy currently is, getting closer to the coast, but moving at 8 miles an hour, so moving very, very slowly. Lots of watches in effect. That includes a tornado watch right now for Panama and also New Orleans. But as far as the track of that system goes, it is expected to go after it makes landfall a little bit further to the north and also the east. So we're talking some small rain shower chances possible, a 40% chance mainly for our eastern counties as that system approaches. I'll continue to keep you guys updated as that system gets closer. Let's turn things over to Anna Beach. She has an update on traffic this morning. How are the roads looking like?
Well, pretty great for the most part of the Austin metro area. You're now looking at US 183 at Lamar Boulevard. You're actually traveling towards I-35 in this camera, so looking pretty good. No major buildups in this area, so thumbs up there, though there is a crash that we are watching here. This is in the Manor area, FM 973 at US 290. So if you're trying to get to the 130 toll road, just watch out for this crash this morning. Let's go ahead and travel just a little bit closer towards downtown. This is the Guadalupe and Lavaca bus lanes. So you'll see here from 2nd to 18th Street, you'll have some spot repairs in this area. So just watch out for that this week. Guys, back to you at the desk.
All right, we are following this story. British media report that Prince Philip has been admitted to a hospital. Buckingham Palace says he was admitted as a precautionary measure for treatment of an infection arising from a pre-existing condition. The palace says he's in good spirits. Of course, we're going to continue to follow the story and bring you updates as soon as we learn them.
We hope to learn more about a new health care bill Senate Republicans have been working on. They hope to pass in the next couple of weeks. Republican leaders say they'll release a discussion draft today. Sources say the president had one request after the House passed their version of the bill: make it less mean.
The president clearly wants a bill that has heart in it.
For once, on the topic of health care, I find myself agreeing with the president. His health care bill is mean.
For weeks, Senate Republicans have negotiated behind closed doors, and only a handful of people have any idea what's in the bill. Senator John McCain says he hasn't seen the revised bill yet, and the White House saying they're not sure if the president has even read it yet.
6:04, and Jared Kushner, the president's top advisor and son-in-law, is headed to the Middle East today. Kushner is hoping to start the groundwork for a peace deal between Israelis and Palestinians. A string of presidents have failed at creating peace between the two nations, but experts say President Trump has several advantages that could help him succeed.
6:05 now, and back here at home, Austin police are asking for your help finding two men who are accused of assaulting, robbing, and kidnapping a group of women visiting Austin. Officials say it started Friday when 5 women staying at a motel off I-35 left the room to pick up drugs from a man they met at a gas station days earlier. The women went to an apartment complex where 2 of them were allegedly zip-tied and sexually assaulted. One of the suspects then told one of the women to drive them back to the motel, where she broke away and called 911. Interim Chief Brian Manley saying these women are survivors.
They got through that encounter, and they had the wherewithal to get in touch with the police and to give us enough information and detailed information to allow us to be in the position that we're in today.
20-year-old Emmanuel Greer, who met the women at the gas station, is still on the run. 19-year-old Christopher Jaramillo and 23-year-old Dimitri Rogers have been arrested. The 4th suspect, described as a Hispanic man. If you have any information, you're encouraged to call police. Now, the apartment complex where the assaults happened has sent out a warning to residents. Someone living there also told KVUE the complex sent out a safety addendum they're asking residents to sign.
6:06, and starting in August, if you're taken to the hospital by Starflight, your bill will be much higher. Yesterday, the Travis County Commissioner's Court authorized a change to Starflight's reimbursement practices. Now those transported to the hospital will have to pay a base rate of over $15,000, plus about $200 per mile. It's to help recover costs, and Travis County says these rates are now consistent with the rest of the market.
Another hurdle this morning for a Texas company trying to build the oil pipeline in North Dakota. A group of Native Americans is suing to stop construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline. Today, a rally against the project is set in Washington, D.C., where a hearing is scheduled in this case.
Tropical storm Cindy is about 200 miles offshore in the Gulf of Mexico, but already bringing heavy rain and flooding to the entire coastal region. ABC's Candace Gibson has more on when Cindy is expected to make landfall.
Overnight, bracing for Cindy. Powerful winds and rain already pounding New Orleans as the tropical storm barrels towards the Gulf Coast. Residents warned to brace for the worst.
We've been through this many times before. I don't want anybody to panic. There's no reason to do that, but this is going to be a serious event.
Rain and flash flooding are the biggest concerns, even being called life-threatening, according to ABC's Rob Marciano.
Look at the amount of rain. Could see a foot or more in New Orleans, Gulfport to Mobile. That is high risk for flash flooding over the next 2 days. It's blowing down out here.
Off the coast, oil companies getting workers off their rigs. In St. Charles Parish, a race to protect homes. These workers building a levee 4.5 feet tall and more than a mile long to try to keep the water out of their neighborhood. And at the grocery store, a familiar scene before these sort of storms. People stocking up.
I think it's a part of life and people are a little bit relaxed. It's not hurricane storm status 4 or 3 yet, 3 or 4, so they're kind of laying low.
Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
Sounds like she's been through a few of these storms there along the coast. Well, we are still talking lots of tropical storm warnings and also some flash flood alerts in place because of the heavy rain. Needless to say, even though we're not talking hurricane force conditions, we're still having the potential of extreme flooding out there. Forecasted rainfall totals could amount up to a foot of rain when all is said and done. Also, tornado watch in place. It's not unlikely to see some rotation. We've already had some warnings issued this morning across the panhandle of Florida, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Here's where Cindy currently is, just south of Louisiana, moving very slow at 8 miles an hour, and sustained winds remain in that tropical storm status. So we have gusts close to hurricane force winds, just under that threshold, still at 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts with that. But it is expected to make landfall early Thursday morning. That's pretty much along the border of Louisiana and eastern Texas. So the impacts here in central Texas, we have a 20 to 50% chance of rain for our eastern counties. We're on the quiet eastern side of the system, western side of the system. It's a great start to your first day of summer this morning. Temps currently in the mid to lower 70s. Hey, don't forget to stay with us on the KVUE app. You can download it and get your latest updates. Check radar, and also we'll continue to post on that, us meteorologists here in the KVUE Storm Center with the latest.
All right, thanks so much. You know, a video like this really has people talking. Remember we talked about the overalls and the lassoing of the gator?
That's right. We showed you this yesterday. Gators popping up in people's yards and on the front porches of their homes. Hunters in East Texas had to wrangle this guy. One man, look at there, even bitten on the finger. He said he's okay, though. He's tough. He's an East Texan.
Oh, my.
East Texans are really, really tough.
You would know. But
if I get a paper cut, I'm in the hospital.
Yeah, right. But, you know, all this is exactly why one Houston area family freaked out. They called gator hunters when they found that surprise on their front door. But it wasn't a gator this time. Listen to this. It was actually a lizard. Yep, this little monster was crawling around on their front porch. They immediately called a gator squad, thinking it was a baby gator. Gator hunter Christy Kroboth says they were prepared for the worst. But when they arrived, they probably laughed because things took a turn for the better.
It's a lizard. Do you want to see? They almost ran back into their house screaming, "No, no, it's an alligator!" I have no idea how you confuse the two because it was a little lizard. It had no sharp teeth. It was no danger to nobody. I have no idea what they were thinking when they called.
Kroboth released the lizard into the front yard, but not before taking a picture of the tiny lizard wrapped in pink that we just saw earlier. Oh boy, I think everyone's overreacting.
You got to be careful. Hey, we had a mouse or something in the newsroom, and you would have thought Godzilla had shown up in there. People on desks, hanging from lights. It was quite a scene, so I can understand. Some people are on edge when it comes to things moving. They don't know what they are.
You're right. I can always hear when there's turbulence in the newsroom, there's some kind of animal.
There's something walking around.
Gross.
Not that we have a dirty newsroom or anything.
All right. Well, severe turbulence on a Texas-bound flight sent 7 people to the hospital.
Reaction from the people who went flying when hitting a bit of turbulence coming up.
And we're using them a lot this summer, our air conditioners, why officials say they're causing more house fires.